Hello, welcome to this tutorial today. I'm Darlington Gospel, and in this tutorial, I want to teach you about lazy minting. It's very important and fantastic skills for your main NFT minting project, NFT marketplace, or whatsoever. So, what is lazy minting? Lazy minting is just a mechanism in the sense that you combine or compound two transactions to one, in the sense that if I want to put my NFT on the marketplace for sales, I only want to pay for gas fee at the time that I'm listing that NFT, not at the time of creation. So when I'm creating it, I'm actually putting it on a database, and then when I want to list it on the marketplace, I'm listing it and also at the same time maintain it. So mint lists at the same time, and I want to show you the techniques behind it in this tutorial. So if you're ready, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and let us jump into this tutorial. So before we move on, this is just me wanting to show you our website, okay, which you can just check out. We have all our courses and books here, like Fullstack NFT maintain course, Fullstack NFT marketplace course. These two courses are really powerful, and I really recommend that you buy it. This book will really help you to, broaden your knowledge on blockchain and smart contract development. And yes, this DApp Mentors Academy is coming. Okay, so keep an eye for it. And check out the website to see information concerning our services, consultancy, and partnership if you want to get in touch with us, talk, and do some real business with us. So that is where you are. This is the website. This is where you get it done. And I have some good news coming for all of you folks that still need some really brush up, some really decent course to help you with your blockchain entry, to be able to take a grab on how the blockchain works and the kind of tools that you need, and actually be able to hit that target with one course. It's coming. Okay, we're having a blockchain basics course that is coming soon and is being prepared even as we speak. So with that said, let's jump into the tutorial. All right, let me show you. This is the home page of this application. This is how it works, called DApp Lazy. Okay, you can see that there is nothing on chain. So there's nothing on the chain, on the blockchain running. Okay, and I'm checking my collection here. There's also nothing on my collection, and yeah, my collection, see, off chain. So there's nothing on my collection right now, which this is where any NFT that are minted, basically for lazy minted, okay, this is where it stays. And live NFT are going to be on this on-chain, okay? And this place is where I can come and create an NFT. So it's very simple. Let's look for an NFT such as this ape. Okay, so I'm going to copy this image address, come here, come to this lazy. Let's call this, then click on create NFT. Okay, so it's lazy minting right now, and it's done. So when I come to this collection here, you can see that it is right here, and I could delete it if I want to as well. This is lazy minted, but it's not on the chain yet. You see, on the chain there is nothing. All right, so what the goal here is that when I click on this list, it performs the activity of listing at this minting at the same time listing as well. So I just click on list NFT, okay, and you can see that it's now prompting my MetaMask wallet. So I approve of this, and the minting is going to happen, the listing all at the same time. You can see that it's now on the chain, and there is literally when you come to this place, you see that off-chain collection, there is nothing there. You can come here. This is like on the marketplace now. You can see this is how it is. So this is just like a little demo tutorial to show you how you can implement lazy minting. Okay, so this is it. So let's jump into the tutorial and start taking care of it one step at a time. So for this application that we're building, we're going to be using this starter kit, okay? Because we don't have time to install things separately. This saves you a lot of time. I've already prepared this starter kit, and it makes the job easier. Okay, so just go to this repository. This is my repository here. This Hardhat _ethers _next underscore starter underscore app. Okay, so it's a star key that will help you to what, get the job done. All right, so you can just copy the URL. I'm going to work to my workspace at Git pod, okay, which just kind of offer me a cloud computer, a development environment online where I could just run my work, run my, it's more like GitHub code space, okay, but it's a lot cooler, if you ask me. So I'm going to use this instead of running it and install it on my own local machine. I'm just going to make use of my internet connection for all of this, and I think it's great. So what you need to do is to create a new workspace. If you're not registered, register. It's really cool. I've already made some videos about them, in recent time. Create a new workspace. We're going to be using, just paste the URL here. Okay, that is all you need to do. Is select that, and it gives you option to use your browser, which works decently. But for me, I like using the VS Code desktop, because it kind of offers me that local host vibe, and that is really, really cool. And sometimes it's very, very cool for me to have that auto refresh, thing that is happening on that. It would make me not to be refreshing, manually, which is great. So you click on this continue, and it's going to create and open that workspace for you, which you're going to load into your space, okay? And it will prompt you at the end of the day to either open it up on VS Code or not. So I'm going to open it up on VS Code. You can also choose the browser. So I'm using VS Code. I've already set up my VS Code in a way that it just automatically, interact with my SSH key. So I don't really need to enter, copy SSH and all of those sort of information. But for you can do it. But if you want to bypass all that, you can set it up yourself. And you can see that this thing is installing at real time, just running everything really lightning fast. Okay, this is going to take some time, because let's face it, sometimes the internet connections are not really great. But with this, you can actually run all of these things at a much faster, rate, because this is cloud to cloud right now. This is not really cloud to your machine, but cloud to cloud. So this is one of the reasons that I like using Gitpod workspace, and I really recommend that for you, especially folks that don't have so much of a juice on their computer, like the specs of their computer are not that great, and as a result of that, it will often, you also notice that your blockchain application is hanging, is freezing, and it's just, very, tiring to develop like that. So it doesn't offer you that kind of speed. Okay. So once it is done this way, what I would say you should do is just quit it. Okay. Quit it. I want you to run yarn hardhat node. Okay. If it gives you a problem, okay, it has started out. And I want you to come here, click on this exposed port. Okay. And you can see that this Hardhat, look at this one with 8545. I need it to make it public. Okay. So you make it public. Fantastic. You copy the URL. See that it's public right now. Copy the URL, go to your MetaMask, because you're going to be using this this setup. Okay, go to your MetaMask, click on this add network, go to this network. I've already in the time past set up my this thing Gitpod, but you can see that it's not connecting quite great because this URL is wrong. So I'm going to update it with this new one that I just fetched. Okay, so I'm going to update it with this one and save it. So with that, I could have all of my ethers. You can see all of them are 100, 100, 100, which means that I've not actually made use of anything there. Okay, so that is great. That part is working. The next thing you want to do is to open another terminal. This time around, you can just run yarn dev. Okay, and then you click enter, and you can see that it started up and running quite well. So please use yarn dev. Okay, don't use yarn start, because it will pop you up with a lot of problems. Okay, so now this port is started and you can see right now. So I could just open it on the web here, and great. You can see Vola, you can see that local host vibe. Even though this is on a cloud computer, it's kind of doing this port forwarding for me and making sure that I have that feeling like it's actually a local host, stuff. So this is how you set up the application. Now in the next part of this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to, set up the interface of this app, this stuff, and just basic stuff. Not going to be focused too much on developing the interface. I'm just going to copy and paste most of them so that we can get into the main tutorial. Okay, fantastic. So let's see the next part. All right, so let's start by decorating our front end to look like the index.js that we saw before. So to do that, you come to your app, go to pages, or before that, you need to create a new component folder, call it components, and this is where all your components are going to go into. So pay good attention. Inside of this component folder, create a new file. We call it header.jsx. We'll paste this here. So I'm going to paste this data, this information, basically what do I need, okay? I'm going to just, let me bring in Prettier here. Okay, so I'm installing that Prettier to make my code formatting a lot better. Fantastic. So this is what we have here. It's just a header element that has a logo, say DApp lazy, and then a navigational element that have collections and create, okay, and then a button by the side that say connect wallet. So you save that, and then you create another component. Let's call it card.jsx. So what does this card do? All we need to do is to paste this set of this. I'm going to increase the font size here. Come here. So I'm going to remove this, and this is FA Ethereum. It's coming from React Icons, which is part of the packages that we installed here. Like you can see here, we have that React Icons. Okay, so it's quite important that you should take note of that. So we're getting this Ethereum icon that is coming there, and this is basically very simple. Okay, this is, let me do this. This is a card component that will display each one of those card images, okay, and it has information such as the name, the image, okay, the name of this NFT, the description, and the price, okay. So basically that is what it is, and it has this two prop. One is NFT data, one is BTN. So if it is a BTN, that means you're saying that it should have this button for listing an NFT or for deleting an NFT. But if it doesn't have this BTN, it should just display this, which is what to do in the marketplace. So when we save this, and then we come to this page, this index page right here, we're going to have to format this a little bit. So I'm going to close this, remove these things. So clean it up. All right, and remove this. I'm just going to replace it with all the new information. Just a moment. So I'm replacing this entire thing with this. Okay, and I'm going to come back here to show you one after the other. Okay, so first step, I'm going to remove this. Okay, and yep, here we do have, this is a list of, take note here. Let me format this very well. So we're grabbing, this is a use state that we have all the NFTs, like a dummy NFT that we want to list right now. So this is the image URL, the name, the description, the price, okay, for each one of those NFTs. And is being held in the use state. So we are getting the card and the header component here. We're grabbing it from the component folder. And afterward, we come in here and name this header part to be what? DApp-lazy. This is NextJs, of course. So we're including the header component. We come here. This card is saying BTN is missing. Okay, so it's quite not compulsory. The reason why it's bringing this error is because this thing is in TSX. This is TypeScript. So I'm going to rename this to what? JSX. I'm not using TypeScript. So I'm going to rename this to JSX. So as it's renamed, you can see that that error is no longer there. It's also actually gone, which is great. This config file is going to come. So I'm going to save it here and just close it. And with that, let's just save and see how it is on the browser. Okay, so we have those two cards. This is how they are rendered. This is the header component. You can see how it looks. Okay, this is the button. This is the card with the two ape. All right, so that's just no brainer, very simple. So the next thing I want to do is something similar for this collection. Okay, so I'm going to do the same as well. I will come to this page, create another page, call it collection.jsx. All right, inside of here, I could just copy this entire thing here and come here, paste it here. Let's change its name to, instead of it being home, I'll change it to collection. All right, so in this collection place, in this collection, we're going to change this to what? Collection. This is off chain. Okay, so say off. Okay, so I'm gonna just save that and come to the browser and click on this collection. Okay, see, this is the off-chain collection. So for this off-chain collection, we can do something really different to just make sure that each one of these NFTs are quite different from the other and not just repeating the same thing. And let's click this. We can copy this image URL. Okay, come to the code. We can remove one of these. Sorry, let's remove this first one and just leave out this one alone. I'm going to remove this image so lengthy. I'll replace it with the one called it board if. Okay, so let's say 6-7 NFT. So let's save that and see how it looks on the app. So it's quite different from what we have here on the main chain, and this is your collection. Okay, this is pretty cool. At this point, what we want to do is to just add something different here. So we want to say BTN. So each one of the cards here in this particular section are going to have a BTN, and which gives you this particular taste. So I'm going to also just remove this, and you come to this card here. I'm going to remove, for this place here, this collection, I'm going to remove this ETH, just leave only that number. That will kind of serve a good purpose, not make this very too lengthy. So fantastic. And lastly, what we want to do is to write this page called the create page. Okay, let's work on it. So now for this page, you come and create a new page, call it create, because we're going to say create.jsx, paste this form here. I'm just going to go take you through it. So we're basically grabbing this header component, which you are sharing across them. We're setting a use state that will hold an empty object that has name, description, price, and image URL. Okay, and this is a function that will handle changes in this particular form. Okay, so whenever a change happens in this particular form, what it will do is to target. It will first of all make sure that the previous state of that data is preserved, which is what we have by this, so that other things that are not changed will remain the same. And then this event.target.name will give us the key to that particular form or field that is being worked on. And then event.target.value will give us information about the value of that field that was changed. All right, so when we submit, we actually just log out the form. Okay, and this is lazy create. This is the name of the header at least. And okay, so this is a button, and these are the fields. Okay, it is just a basic form. Okay, basic form for doing these things, and right, like that. So these are the form. It has description, it has image URL input, it has price input, it has name. All right, and the submit button right there. So when I save this, come to the browser, click on this create. You see that this is a form that we just create. So with that, we've been able to create all the essential, forms that we need for this particular build. All right. So in the next tutorial, in the next section of this video, we're going to start working on the that is the MongoDB setup part of this project. Okay, so because we're using MongoDB to set up all the data so that we can be able to put this data online, then later on we can mint them. So that is the concept about lazy minting. All right, so with that, I'll see you in the next section. Okay, so the next step here, which is to basically create a MongoDB instance. I'm going to just log in with my credential. Right, so we're going to create a new database. We use that to run our instance online. So next step, you need to do what? Build a database. Okay, and you see that this one, if I want to use this is 0.08 USD per hour. We don't want all this one, we want the free one. Okay, so the free one, and you can use any one of these. You can use any server that is closer to you. So since I'm shooting from Africa, I think Cape Town is going to be a lot closer to mine. So what's the database name? I'm going to call this DApp lazy. Okay, please make sure that it's all lowercase. Dapp lazy is going to be the name of my instance. Okay, Dapp lazy YT for YouTube. Say underscore. So underscore is not valid. So Dapp lazy, YT. That is what I'm going to call it. And no, I'm just going to call it Dapp lazy because it's going to be a lot easier for me to work with that way. So I'm going to click on create. So instance going to ask for me to just do this dumb stuff. So verify. Okay, sorry. Now it's asking for a walkway crosswalk. Okay, so gonna just make sure that is it, and we've verified. We need to create a new. So I'm going to use the existing one. I already have an account here, but if you must use your own account, you can create a new one. You can add a database name. Okay, you can say something like admin, right? And you can just auto generate a password and create and save. So we can copy this and click on create. So I have a new account here, and this is the admin guy. All right, so afterward, I'm just gonna keep this setting as it is. I could add my own, my own IP address, but so long as this one it works just great. And then you say finish and close, and you don't need this. Say go to DB, and that database will go ahead and get created. So now that it's being created, one of the things you want to do is to come here. So you do quickly, you say connect, you want to connect with these drivers. All right, so you definitely know that you're going to be installing MongoDB. So I'm going to just run this first step. First step is to come here, and I will come to my terminal, run. I'm going to quit this for now. Okay, I'm going to run yarn add. Okay, yarn add MongoDB. All right, so I'm going to install that. And so after that, I'm also going to go ahead and add this URI, okay, to my database. Like basically what I want to do is to get this URI. Okay, I'm going to grab this URI right here, and okay, this URI. Okay, I'm going to grab it, come to my application. Okay, I think this is the installing. It's kind of taking longer though, but What I want to do, I want to create a .env file that will enable us to have all these things set up. And also, before I proceed, all this Git stuff, I want to remove this Git stuff. I don't want it to be tracking any GitHub for me. All right, so I'm going to do arrow M for remove dash arrow F, and I'm going to say dot Git. So you should remove that .git folder so that it will stop tracking all these things and causing all this greenish looking thing. So I'm going to what? Remove that. After I've run that, code .env. So this should what? Pop this up in VS Code. And I could say, okay, let's just call it React underscore app. Next underscore app underscore, let's call this MongoDB, and we're just going to paste this URL right here. And what is this URL going to be made up? The username, I'm going to just come here to the username. We actually did copied it before, so now let's look at access, database access. Okay, so I'm going to delete this admin for now. I'll delete this admin, add a new one. I'm going to call it, okay, so I'm going to call this person admin user and show password, auto generate password. So I'm going to copy this password. Okay, so make sure it's the same. So that's the password. And I'm just going to add this user. So never. So this is the new user right now. So we'll come here in this code. This username is going to be called admin, and the password is going to be this that I just copied right now. And I'll save that because that is quite important. So I'm saving this. You can see that my GitHub stuff has also disappeared. So that's basically all that I need for my database setup. So the next set of things now is to write some API that will help us to interact with this database. We'll use this API to create, delete, list out, NFTs that we want lazing into our database. So let's do that next. So let's start creating the endpoints that we're going to need. It's more like an API. And this is one of the reasons that I like one of the reasons why I like NextJs is because it gives me this ability to do like a full stack development in a way, like, having the Node.js thing going on and reacting and everything is just very much compound, which is pretty good. So you come to this pages place, you inside this folder called APIs, we would have to just delete this what is it called, this hello.ts, and just create your own. We're not going to create a file first. We're going to create something like a folder. Okay, so we're going to call this folder API. All right, so inside of this API folder, we're going to create another file, call it create. Okay, let's call it, sorry, I think I had named this 2 times. Okay, so inside of this, I'm going to rename this folder. Let's call it NFT. Okay, NFT. Okay, so you see API / NFTs. Okay, let's make sure it's NFTs. All right, so it is NFTs. No, so we're going to create a file inside of it, call it create.js. All right, so create.js, that is the name of the file. So inside of this file, one of the things I'm going to do first is to import MongoDB. Okay, it is quite important that we have MongoDB imported. So we're importing Mongo client and this server API version. So this will help us to set up the version of the server that we're configuring to interact with MongoDB. All right. So let's do the next thing. So the next thing, I'm going to import these two information. So I'm getting the URI. The URI is coming from this MongoDB. Okay, next app MongoDB. This is the where the URI is. So I'm actually grabbing that, and putting it here. Maybe I could, give a space in here to make sure that it's, much better. spelled. So this is MongoDB right here, and I'm defining this client object. What is this client? It's a new Mongo client, and I pass the URI, okay, which includes both the user and the database name and the user password. All right, and then you set up your server requirement. This is server API telling you about the version. We're using version 1, and the rule is strict. Depreciation error is true. So basically, that is what you need in that part. Next, you just need to write this. This is basically how an endpoint. Each one of these files is one endpoint in NextJS, which is just cool. It just makes it looks like a serverless application and just gives you one endpoint per file. Like this is the endpoint, and it's going to use the default name of this file to create that endpoint for you. So whatever you name this file, that will be what the endpoint of the file is. So I'm just saying you should export default. This is an asynchronous function, and the handler, okay, which is basically request and response. So the next thing I want to do is to prevent other methods that I don't want from accessing this. Okay. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Let me install this extension prettier. It is installed. So what do I mean by that? I want to make sure that it's only post request that is valid for this endpoint. So if it's not a post request, it should return this error saying that this method is not allowed. So that is what is happening here. And then otherwise, I want to do a try catch, and I'm going to populate it with some information. In trying and catching, there is some other things like try catch, and then there's this last one called final. Okay, so try catch. So want to try this. If it works, okay, then this side is not going to run. Okay, but if this fails, this one is going to run. But in any case, this one is going to run. Okay, so at the end of each communication to our database on MongoDB, we want to close that client so that it will not remain open. Okay, so that's what we're doing. So if there is an error on this catch, we want to simply just log this error on the console, say error creating NFT, and then the response is going to have a status code of 500, and then the message is going to be failed to create NFT. That is just what it is. So I'm going to bring in some information here. Like I want to grab essential information such as this request.body should contain the name of the NFT, the description, the price, the image URL, and then the owner of this specific NFT. Okay, and then after I grab that, I'm going to open up this request. I'm going to open up the connection to MongoDB and actually just access that NFT. What is it called? I'm going to access the DApp lazy database, and then the NFTs collection. Okay, so I'm going to try it in case it doesn't have this collection yet. I want to see if it can create it itself or will require me to create it myself. If it requires me, I'm going to create it manually, but if it doesn't, then it will just go. So it's going to insert one of these and just insert all of this in the database, and then return this response saying that NFT was created successfully. So basically, that is what it is about this specific endpoint. On later ones, I'm not going to go about doing this one after the other. I'm just going to paste it and just explain it for you really fast and simple. All right, so let's save that part. And now it is up and running. You want to now come to this create place. Okay, you know that these are all the data that we're creating, and even more, this is the data that we want to use in submitting. This is the form, because this form will contain the name, the description, the price, the image URL, and so on. So but one thing that is lacking is that it doesn't have the owner, which we can grab using the what is it called? We can grab it using the currently connected wallet address. Okay, so we're going to do that in the next part of this tutorial. All right, to proceed, let us create a folder called store, because this is where our essential information, our global state is going to be held together. State management library, that's basically what I'm doing here. So call it store, right? Inside of this store, I'm going to create a file, call it just index.js. .gsx. You can see .gsx and just paste this information. I'm going to explain for you. First, we are importing this. We're importing create global state from React hook global state, and we're just setting one key value alone called connected account, which is a state that is going to keep track of the currently connected wallet address on our platform. And then I just have this small function that just truncate that wallet address into 4 and then triple dot in between. So that is basically what all these things does. And you save it. The next thing you want to do is to actually import this. That is to install this package, to add this package, because if we look at our package.json, we don't have it. It doesn't come here because this toolkit was designed to carry Redux, but there really isn't much of need for Redux because I'm not doing a lot of heavy duty state management library tasks. I'm just going to do something really simple. So I don't need this. I don't need Redux for this tutorial. So what I want to do is to just open this place and say yarn add, and then this is what I want to add, this React global state hook. So I'm going to add it, going to have to import it and add it to my package.json. Okay, so, and there we have it, is installed. I can use that in this application. So it's not going to be active. Okay, that is for this specific one. Although there is other parts of this application that I would like to bring in as well. The next one I want to bring in, on that one, call it services. Okay, services, and the service that I want to bring in is called blockchain service. So I'm going to create this file, call it blockchain.gsx, and I'm going to paste in some essential data here in a moment. So in this blockchain file, I'm going to paste this set of codes. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm defining an Ethereum variable. It's going to hold our Ethereum object, which is injected by MetaMask. So before that, I'm putting this thing here because NextJs is not just like React. This is a server-side rendered application. So because of that, this Windows object will not be available at the time the server is rendering the page, and as a result of that, it will bring error. So we just want to make sure that window, before this is assigned, this we will call on this window.ethereum. We want to make sure that the window is loaded. That's why we're putting this if statement around it. And then we need two functions. The first function will help us to connect wallet. And when it is connecting a wallet, it's going to store the wallet address that it retrieves. Okay, it's going to store it, the first wallet address is going to store it in that connected account, which is this state global state hook that we just added. So it's going to be stored in this hook place. So basically, that is what this line of code does, and that is what this function does in simple. And then here as well, we have another function called connect wallet. It grabs all the wallet as well. It helps us to retain that connection. So even though we refresh the page, it doesn't disappear. It still keeps our connection alive. Okay, that is what this function does. So it has some watchers that are keeping track of the state of the wallet. For example, if I change my chain, that is my blockchain. If I'm using mobile and then I change to localhost or another Polygon or whatever thing, it's going to refresh the entire page. That is what this does, okay? And this also watch for account changes. So if I change an account, what I just want is for it to update to that particular account, update this connected account to the one that I just switched to. Okay, so that is what this does. And of course, it also check if the length of the account is greater dot length. If there is a dot length, that means if it's not equal to 0, you should set this so it's just like a failed save mechanism. Otherwise, you just report this thing. You see, I'm not using any alert because alert kind of freezes the page. So I'm just going to I'm just going to use only this, going to say report error, which is this. All right. So no account found. All right. So that is the error right there. So with that done, we are good to go. We just save it up, and then we come to the app.js. All right, so we need to fix more things on the app.jsx. Okay, so come to pages, come to this underscore app.tsx. This is where we need to do some further modifications. Okay, so I'm going to update this our app setup. I'm just going to add some extra information. For example, I want to update it to this. I'm explain one after the other. This is just the style, the global style that we have in this application. Okay, our tailwind and all the things that we did here is all applied in this global CSS. So this is the app. This was what was there before. And look at this. We are getting this from React Toastify because we're using Toastify package to alert if there is any message or anything that we need to alert. We use this Toastify to make that alert. So this CSS style belongs to it, and this container belongs to what? React Toastify. You can see how I defined it here. Okay, say position is at the bottom. I just set up all this essential information. Okay, so that is basically what you need. And use a use effect. The use effect is quite important. We use the use effect to keep track of the state of the currently connected wallet address, because if this wallet address changes, I want it to run this entire function again. Okay, so that is why we're having this use effect coming in. And this connected wallet is coming from that blockchain service, which is this, because we exported it here. So we'll have access to it by importing it in a different file that we want to use it at. And then we're using this use global state, which is what we use in grabbing the currently connected wallet address. And then we can use that to monitor for any changes in our use effect. So we define, this is how you use use effect in React 18. On previous tutorials, I normally would use React 17, but React 18, you can't put a sync in front of this place here. It's just going to be chaotic, so you don't do it that way. Instead, you define a function inside of the use effect and give it that asynchronous function and perform all of the things, then execute it at last. That is how you do it in React 18. And I'm adding this connected account as a dependency, because if any change, I want it to run this entire thing again. So I'm just adding an empty div here. So that empty JSX, I'm including that component, but I'm just including this toast container as well, because it's quite important. That is just all we're doing in this particular file here. So we'll save that, and then basically all the requirements that we need to use in for connecting our wallet, for creating stuff, is almost done. So in the next section, I'm going to show you how to use it along with this what do I mean? You're going to use it along with this file here, this header.jsx. We're going to, whenever we click on this connect wallet, we should be able to call that connect wallet function that we connect our wallet with MetaMask. That is what we're going to do in the next section. So at this point, before we proceed, let us test out that all of these things are working by just running yarn dev. So yarn dev and run that. So the service is up and running. Let's come to the browser and refresh this and check that everything seems to work right. Okay, so everything is working right, but when I click on this, there is nothing happening. So let's bring in that functionality. I'm going to close this. I'll replace this. This is just a simple header right now, so I'm just replacing it with just a few codes. Okay, so what is this about? The difference now is that I'm grabbing the currently connected wallet address. Okay, I'm grabbing it from from this store here using this use global state. I use that to grab the currently connected wallet address, and also this function, because we're going to use that to truncate the currently connected wallet address, and this other function called connect wallet, which is coming from the blockchain service. Okay, so now this is the header file. So I'm performing a check. I'm checking, is there a wallet that has been connected already? If there is a wallet connected already, I want it to display this set of codes. What are these set of codes? I want it to display those navigational link. And secondly, I want I want it to display a button that has been truncated with the currently connected wallet address. If there is no currently connected wallet address, I want it to just display a button, say connect wallet, and whenever it is clicked, it's going to perform the connect wallet functionality. Basically, that is just what it is about this code. So I'm going to save that and come to the page. Let's click on connect wallet. The UI need to refresh this, so let's refresh this. Okay, so you see that it's already connected with the previous one, so I'm going to disconnect any wallet address that have been connected already. So I'm going to connect this, connect that. Okay, so I'm going to refresh. Okay, so click on what? Connect. Okay, I'm going to connect with the first one. Once I click next, connect, and you can see that has been connected. When I switch or change account, let's say I come to this next one and say connect, see that just changes and get connected to that one as well. So this helps me to keep track of the currently connected wallet address, and that becomes a very important criteria for creating a form, because if if there is no currently connected wallet address, we don't want it to create any single form for us. So I'm going to disconnect this and disconnect this as well. Hold on. I believe that why this is not working out well here, look at this place here. So if there is a currently connected wallet address to this, otherwise you should do basically should do an empty, you should reset it. So I'm going to do this and check it out. Let's refresh this. Okay, now I'm going to click on this, connect. I'm going to connect that, right? So I come here, I want to disconnect this. So disconnect. Okay, you can see that it relieved that specific button from connecting. So what I'm going to come is to put the rest of the logic in this place that will enable me to create an NFT. So if I'm not connected, it should give me a warning telling me that I need to connect my NFT, my wallet address first before I can proceed. So let me close from these places. Now let's come back to here. No, not here. Let's come back to this page here. So this is where we want to perform the form submission. Okay, so everything is cool with this form. I'm just going to make changes to this place when we're submitting the form. So I want to replace it with this data. I'm going to explain it one after the other for you. So what is it is, this is where we are. Before we submit a form, we're checking that if there is nothing in this currently connected wallet address, because we are actually grabbing it from here. So let me just copy and paste something like this, here. Okay, so I'm grabbing it here. I need to import this particular stuff, and to import it we can use the same method as this. Okay, so I'm going to import it right here. So I have this use global state. I'm grabbing this currently connected wallet address. So I'm checking if there a currently connected wallet address. If there is none, I want it to fire this notification telling whomever is trying to create an NFT that please connect your wallet. All right. Otherwise, just I need to import this from React Hostify, and now React Hostify, and now it is imported, so that this will not give me errors. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is we're calling this is a promise-based method of using the toast notification. Okay, we're saying that if we are creating a new promise, because this toast.promise takes two arguments. It takes a promise, all right. It takes a promise as the first argument, and then the second argument, it takes an object that gives 3 indication of the states or the status of your operation, whatever submission progress it is. So it takes that object that has those information. So the first thing I want to try by calling this function. This is the endpoint. Okay, this endpoint processes that NFT for us. So we're calling that endpoint, which is in API directory /NFTs create. You can see it clearly here, API NFT create. Okay, so this is where we're submitting it, and we're using the post method. And of course, the header is going to be your content type of application / JSON, and the body you're going to just say JSON.stringify, and I'm passing the form data, which is actually this here. And after I pass the form data, I'm destructuring it and also adding this connected account as the owner. This is very important to making sure that the requirements of this are completed. Okay, owner is here, so it's very important that I add it here. So now I'm going to check the response. I'm going to say if this response.okay, that means it was successful. I want it to reset this form and just resolve. Okay, otherwise it should reject. But if there is any error in any way, it should just also reject, and with that error logged out. But if it was successful, we should just say lazy maintain, created successfully, and basically that is it. So we're going to save this now, and then come to the view. We are not currently connected right now, so I'm going to do something quick. I'm going to come here. Okay, I'm looking for a good NFT to use. Let's use this guy. It's too large though, but it's actually really dope. Okay, so let's use this. We're using copy image address. Hope it's not a crazy data URL. Call it dope ape or dope ape. The price is 77 ethers, and the image URL, let's just paste this. So this is where the image URL is, and let's copy some dumb stuff here and paste, and then hopefully this will work just great. Then you click on create NFT. It tells you that you need to connect your wallet. Then now you click on connect wallet. Okay, and actually just connect. I'm going to connect like 3 wallet addresses, so I'm just going to connect those ones, and you can see that even this has shown up, right? So I will come here because I don't want nuances stuff showing up on my screen. So what I'm going to do is to just reset the account. Okay, so I'm going to clear activities, reset account for this. Okay, and when I switch to this first one too, I also want to clear activities, and this last guy here, the third one, I'm going to clear activities. So I have all those things cleared out. So this is a wallet that is currently connected. So let's click on create now. So it's saying lazy maintain. So there is an error. And what's the error? So let's look at where the error is coming from. So it's saying that user is not allowed to do action. So basically, there is a lot of limitations to this specific user called admin. So called, what is it called? Admin. Okay. What is going to happen? I'm going to just replace this user with mine that have all the roles, but I could just come here and give it the administrative role. I don't want to go through all of this right now. So this is the main account. So I'm just going to edit this, edit the password, and let's just auto-generate a new one, which is this. I'll copy that and update this user. So now I'm going to come to my environment variable here. I'm not going to use admin. I'm going to use Daltonic. Okay, and I'm going to just paste this here, save it. Okay, so and my environment variable has been refreshed. You can see that here. Okay, so with that in place, I'm going to clear this, and let's see how it's behaved now. Come to this place here. Let's perform that create stuff again. Okay, it still failed. Why did it fail? Saying that unknown right to unknown, so it's having an issue, and probably this is coming as a result of us not setting the collection. All right, so we need to like set that collection. So to set the collection, you come here, come to database, okay, and let's click on browse collection. There is no collection called NFT yet, or there is. Okay, it actually saved successfully, you know, it actually saved successfully, but it did not, we had an issue under the hood, okay? So because this is what we did here, and you can see that, this were the naming convention. So there's something wrong here, and we don't know it. Let's debug it. So giving us unknown majority, rewrite, blah, 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 retry right. So probably having some issues to do with this. Let's try removing this and see. So let's save this and clear this. Let's run that again to verify that it works. Let's call this general app and give it, okay, 74. Let's create it and see. Oh, that went successfully. Okay, so we just need to remove that extra thing. And when I come to my collection here, I won't see it here. This is like the old, the dummy stuff here. So in the next section of this, I'm going to show you how to list out all of these NFTs that are on your collection here. Okay, so if you come to your MongoDB, if I refresh here, you find out that that I have this general app, you understand, which is here, and this other one here. So let me just delete this older one because I don't want a replica of them. Or so we have this one ape, and if you want to be able to read it, and I want to read it if it's, I only want to display the ones that are mine, or the ones that actually belong to each wallet address. So everybody will don't get to see every other person's personal collections. So we'll do that in the next section. To retrieve all the NFTs, let's create a new one, call it list.js, because it's going to be listing out all the NFTs. I'm going to paste the entire stuff and explain it to you. Of course, this is just the same as the it's basic standard on how you do it. Here, we're only ensuring that it's a GET request that goes through this endpoint. And now we're opening up the connection. Okay, this is the part that is quite different from any other place. This is the only thing that is different right now, except that we are not actually grabbing any parameters because we don't want to grab any parameters. We just want to list out all the NFTs. Of course, it's going to pull both NFTs of other people as well, but that's not an issue. We're going to resolve that. So we get the NFT collection. We get it from database called DApp lazy, and then the collection of NFTs. And afterward, you want to say that NFTs, if you have a criteria to find, you can actually insert it here, and then it will find those. It will return the collection based on these parameters that you set up here. I found out that I was having having a lot of problems trying to do this way, so I decided to do it in a different way altogether. So I'm going to return these NFTs, and now later on I will consume these NFTs in this collection page right here. And how I'm going to consume it, I'm going to use a server-side props to extract it so that there will be no lag in your experience. By the time the page renders, it will be rendering with all the NFTs. Okay. To do that, I'm going to replace this whole page with some modifications, okay? So this is the modification right here. I'll paste this, and I'm going to show you. First of all, I'm grabbing this server-side prop, okay? I'm grabbing the server-side prop. First of all, I'm saying this next base URI, it's going to be like, let's come here. We'll come to .env. We'll create a .env file. Let's do this, and this say code.env. This is what it's going to be here. So we're going to say this next base URI, next app underscore base URI. What is the base URI here? To get the base URI, you can copy it from here. This place called expose port. This is the base URI of this application, which is this. Okay. Copy it here. Paste this. This is the base URI. Yeah. So this is the base URI. I think localhost. I think let's check it out from this first. Once we validate that that works, we'll move on to the next part of it. So now we're saying this next base URL, we're merging it with /API /NFTs, /list, So that's what we're grabbing. We're fetching this, and in fetching this, we put it on this prop. Okay, so we grab that response and we put it on these NFTs and we return it as prop. And if it failed, we just want to return an empty array. So we're checking out that this response was okay, it retrieved it, but if it doesn't, it should return an empty array. If there is also an error, it should return an empty array. So that is what is happening here. And then now we're passing that NFTs that we're grabbing from here as a server-side prop, to this collection. Okay, and I'm also grabbing my, the currently connected wallet address from this use global state. And I'm doing a filter state here. I'm saying that for each one of the NFTs, we want to check if it has the same address as the currently connected wallet address. If this person and this wallet are the same, then it should add it to this part. And at the end of the day, I just list out all of those things just as it was before. So that is what is happening here. So let's save it. After we save it, we'll check it out on, let's check it out. Let me make sure that I spin up the server, say yarn dev. Okay, so it hasn't loaded the .environment file that we just updated. It has loaded it into the application. So let's come here. Now let's refresh here. You can see that it was board ape before. So let's check it out. So it's having an issue, and the issue is saying, let's see, what's the issue? Say unauthorized. Okay, unauthorized. What about if I use this as the this here? Just gonna use this. Let's try this. Okay, so it's being recompiled right now. So let's refresh again. Okay, you see that, okay, that's the better URL because it's always going to be valid since it is doing a port forward. And you can see that this is the NFT that we just recently minted, and to confirm that this thing is is actually working great, let's create another NFT, so we can use something like this one. Okay, I'm going to copy this image address, come to this application, call this, what is the name of this NFT? Call it Soldier Ape. Soldier Ape, and price is 36. And then we paste this URL. Okay, so this is the URL where the asset is. We just do this again, and paste it here. And, maybe we just want to change that address for once. Let's use this one that ends with 22. So let's create it for this person, and it's lazy minting, and it has been minted successfully. When we come here, you see that that soldier boy is here. So when we switch account, okay, let's change it to this other account. You can see that it's this one. And then when we switch to this, you see that this person doesn't have any NFT on their wallet. That is pretty cool. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is to be able to delete. All right, delete. When we click on this, we want to be able to delete and also when we're able to delete, then we can add up that functionality, into what we're doing. So for now, we're going to pause on that one. We're going to come back later to work on that delete feature. Okay. Okay, let's just get the delete feature working. Okay. And once the delete feature is working, then later we'll work on this feature. So let's do that in the next section. So in this part, let us create a new endpoint. So we're still in this endpoint place. Create a new endpoint, call it delete. Okay, .js. So in this delete endpoint, I'm going to just paste this. Remember, the method that is being used here is a delete method, and we're grabbing these two things called _ID and owner. We're using that to make this request here, which is saying that we're accessing the DApp lazy DB and the NFT collection, and we're deleting one where the ID _ID is actually new object ID, which we're importing from this MongoDB, okay? And I'm passing in that object ID because it has to be wrapped around with this, provision, this function right here, okay? We're wrapping it around this object, this class. And we also want to make sure that the owner, where the owner is actually equal to this as well. So that is one of the two criteria for deleting an NFT. And once it is deleted, by checking on delete count, is it greater than 0? If that is so, it will return the success response. Otherwise, it returns the failure response. So that is what this API does. So I'm going to save that, and then we can then come to, I'm going to close this. I'm going to come to cards component here. Okay, so this is the button I want to hook up a function to that will enable us to perform deletions. Okay, so let's update this card to enable us to perform that delete operation. So let's say select all this and paste it here. So don't freak out, there's nothing to freak out about here. So we're just grabbing this connected wallet address from the store. I'm also getting this truncate feature, which we are using to truncate the text, the description, because when it gets too lengthy, it becomes annoying. So we just want to keep it at a general length, okay? And we're forming this function called handle delete, okay? In handling delete, we'll first of all checking if this NFT data, the owner of this NFTs, if it is not equal to this currently connected account, is to say one in unauthorized, okay? So that wrong people can do this, but it is highly unlikely that this will happen, but we're just putting that provision there. And we're getting this toast notified. We're using this promise-based method. This is a promise, and what does the promise do? Resolve, reject. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to call this onDelete method, which is an asynchronous function, okay? The onDelete method performs the deletion mechanism by calling the API/NFT/delete endpoint and making sure that the method is delete and, of course, stringifying this NFT data and then sending it. If this is successful, what we're simply saying that you should just refresh like the page, you should just refresh the page if it is successful and return true. Otherwise, it should just, otherwise, we can actually just move this here. We can say, okay, we can move this all the way here. Yeah, so if it is successful, resolve, and we just refresh the page here. So we can move it there. So what we're saying is on delete, it should perform this activity, delete the function, call it here, and to be deleted from the database, and we'll just refresh the page to make sure that actually got deleted. And then we're attaching that button, that handle delete function, which is here. We're attaching it to this particular delete function here, and once that is done, it's going to be obedient. All right. So now that that is done, let's refresh this page. Okay, this is how it looks right now. Let's just add one more collection. So I'm going to create a new one, a new collection. I'm going to just use one of these. Let's use this guy. Okay, using this image address, coming here, say Hardhat. Okay, say 28, put this image URL and put this, description here, and click on what, create NFT, and it has been lazy minted. So when we come to his collection, okay, you can see that Hardhat is there. So we can decide to delete one of these. How do we delete it? By just clicking on this delete, and you say deleting NFT, and it's deleted successfully, and you can see that it's triggering a reload, and once that is reloaded, you can see that NFT is not there anymore. So that validates that this stuff can be deleted. Okay, so this whole thing is happening, using MongoDB under the hood. So these NFTs are, but of course, nothing is being listed here yet. These are just dummy data. Okay, so nothing is listed here. We're gonna come to this part where we can now mint this collection. When we click on this list NFT, is going to mint it to the chain. That is the lazy minting ability that we're saying. We're listing, but at the same time minting as well, and doing all that cool stuff. So I'm going to see in the next tutorial in the next section where I deal with the smart contract and prepare the smart contract for performing this sort of activity. So to proceed in this section, we need to create a folder. Let's call this folder contracts. Okay, this is where all our smart contracts are going to be living, this folder here. I'm going to call a new file here, call it lazy.so. Okay, in this lazy.so, I'm going to paste this set of function rules. Okay, so now let me explain them one after the other. Okay, first step, we're saying that, we're using Solidity within this range, the compiler within this range to compile the smart contract. And we're grabbing this ownable from OpenZeppelin access control, and we're grabbing this counter from OpenZeppelin utilities. And of course, we're grabbing the ERC721 token from OpenZeppelin as well. We're declaring that this lazy is a type of OpenZeppelin ERC721 token, and we're using counter for counters. This is because we want to be able to increment this token total item. We want to be able to have a general counter to be taking record of how many NFTs that have been minted on our platform. Okay, so this struct is basically the information that each NFT is going to hold, which are like the basic information like you saw us in doing. Let me show you this. If you come to this place, which is like, you can see that name, description, price, image URL, and owner. Okay, that is basically the same thing. This ID, when it's on the smart contract, is going to be swapped to be, it's going to be represented as token ID, but in the database here, it's just bearing a random token, a random ID. Okay, but it's going to carry the same set of information here. So when you come here, you see that name, description, image, token ID, owner, and price. That is the information that makes up for a specific NFT. Here we're having listing price. This is the price for you to mint an NFT, basically, at 0.02 Ethers. And then we're mapping each token ID. We're mapping it to what, the NFT struct. So each token ID, we have a representation of this NFT struct. That means each NFT has a name, description, image, token, and all those sort of things. I'm just making this thing very simple. Okay, this is not like a full-blown NFT minting project or NFT marketplace project. Okay, so I'm going to call this collection, and I'm going to declare the constructor and initialize this ERC721 token as what? The name is what? The currency name is Lazycoin. Okay, and the this thing, the name of the symbol is LZC, okay, which is lazy coin basically. And I'm putting this main function, okay, that will perform the minting procedure for us. So this minting function takes in name, description, image URL, and price, and is a payable function. You should know that. Well, first of all, ensuring that the amount that you want to use for the minting, okay, is equal to or greater than what? The listing price, okay? Otherwise, you just scream out insufficient amount, all right? We're saying that the price for you to what? Categorize this NFT is greater than 0 Ether, so you don't put that the price is actually 0 Ether. So we're making sure that you don't submit an empty name, you don't submit an empty description, and you don't submit an empty image URL. Afterward, we just increment these total items because initially it's going to be 0. So when you increment it, it becomes 1. And then we grab that current increment, which is 1, and make it the token ID. So we mint it to the whoever is calling this function and assign that mint a token ID of this that we just grabbed. Afterward, we initialize a NFT struct item, and we say the item.token ID is going to be what? This token ID, right? The name is going to be that, the description is going to be this, and price, the owner is going to be the person that is calling this function. And then we'll not add it to collection because collection is mapping token ID to what? An NFT item, which is this right here. So we do this and we are successfully minted an NFT. And then we have a second function that enables us to what? List or grab all the NFTs that are on the platform, and then we'll be able to what? List that on the marketplace. It is that simple. Okay, so we're done with the smart contract. This is what a smart contract is all about. The next thing you need to do is to define another folder, call it scripts. Okay, because this script is going to enable us to what? Deploy the smart contract into the network. Okay, so to do that, come here. To do that, create a file inside this folder, call it deploy.js. Okay, and this deploy.js here, I want you to paste this script, and I'm going to explain for you right now. So Hardhat has this specific kind of ethers.js that it uses. And we're also grabbing this FS library that comes with Node.js, of course. And we're saying that we're grabbing the artifact of this lazy smart contract, and we are deploying it to the network. We are waiting for the deployment to be completed. And after the deployment has been done, we are what? Basically just accessing the contract address and saving it in this location, and eventually writing it to a specific location which will be created called artifact, and we're storing the contract address as JSON inside of it, and then just logging this thing on the console that we have successfully created our NFT. This is in charge of executing all this script that we just seen. Done. That is it. You save this, open your terminal. I'm going to end this server. You can see that this particular service has been up and running, and really nothing has been taking place on it. So let me clear this up. Now run yarn hardhat run script /deploy.js and execute it. It might fail. It's downloading the compiler version of that is 0.8.17. So basically, this has been deployed to this network here, and you can see this network. Okay, you can see that this is the contract address here. With this in place now, all we just need is to do yarn dev. Okay, so this will be up and running online now, and we can come to. You can see that a folder called artifact has been created. You can see the contract address has been stored here, and all of those vital information, which is pretty fantastic. Okay. Now let's come back here. Let's close this place. Close here. We're going to go back to our blockchain services, which is where we'll actually do the rest of the manipulations. All right. We'll do that in the next section. So we're going to update this. we're going to update this blockchain service. Okay, right now it's only serving two important functionality, which is to basically keep the state of the blockchain alive, the state of the wallet connection alive, and also help us to connect to a wallet. Or we want to do more things like being able to mint, being able to list NFTs that are actually on the blockchain and not on the database. Okay, so doing these two things require that I update this. So I'm going to select all this and just paste this set here. And let me do this as well. I'm going to come here. I'm going to say if there is no wallet, just going to reset this. So basically, we have the same thing. Let me explain this. Right now, we're grabbing the address. The address is living in this position, okay? This is where the address is. We're grabbing the smart contract API, which is this lazy API. You can see all of it here. So we're grabbing it from this location and making it available here. We're doing this get global state, which will enable us to have information about the currently connected wallet address, and also to help us to set essential information such as the currently connected wallet address as well. So we're making this contract address, clearing address.address, and contract API is actually API.API. And we're also bringing in this specific variable called TX, basically for transaction. It will help us to monitor transaction if that transaction has been completed. Okay, it's quite important for us to use that so that we can make sure that we'll make sure that our smart contract and our blockchain service is responding correctly to our application. Next, we're actually using these two functions. This function helps us to convert a number to its equivalent in we, and then this one helps us to convert a number from we to what? Human readable number, okay? So which is just a regular number, all right? And now we're using this particular function here. It's called get Ethereum contract. Okay, in this get Ethereum contract right here, we are setting it up in this format so that whether it is connected to a wallet or is not connected to a wallet, it can still run. So if it is connected, if you have a wallet currently connected to a wallet, an address, okay, it just use the Ethereum Web3 provider, which is MetaMask, to make that communication. Otherwise, it will just use this React app RPC URL, which, of course, let me end this. Okay, if I come to code.env, the RPC URL, I'm going to paste this here. I'm going to say next. Okay, we're going to call it next app underscore. Okay, RPC URL. What is that? I'm going to come to this expose port. See this? This is the RPC URL, and it has to be public. It's currently public. So I'm going to copy this RPC URL and paste it here. Okay, it's very important that I do that, or you do that as well. So with that done, and the next, so this is going to be accessed now as not as a React app, but it's going to be accessed as next app. Okay. Okay, so you should take note of that tiny little changes. So we're either using JSON RPC provider or a Web3 provider, which is like MetaMask in this our case right now. And then we're grabbing this signers and just basically get us the contract address. Okay. And here is a function called mint NFT. So this function will enable us to mint an NFT to a specific wallet address. How do we do that? First of all, it grabs this set of parameters, which is the name, description, image URL, and price. It checks that you have MetaMask installed on your machine, and it returns a promise. Okay, what is the promise all about? This promise basically try grabbing the contract address and perform the transaction, which is to mint. Okay, passing the name, description, image URL, and the price, which is being converted to its equivalent to we here, and then the value, which 0.02 is the listing fee. This is the minimum amount that you will need to mint an NFT. It's quite different from this one. This is just for record keeping sakes, okay? And you await, you see the way we store it in this TX, okay, so that we can later do tx.wait, okay, putting a wait in front of it to make sure that this has been confirmed in a blockchain before it resolves here. Otherwise, you just report this and reject with this error. All right. And then there is another function that we create here, which is called load NFTs. What load NFTs basically do is to grab the Ethereum contract, and call this get NFTs function, and then return a structured form of this NFT function, which is, we are making sure that this NFT.token is converted to a number. This one is all lowercase. The name remains the same, description remains the same, image array remains the same, because they are all strings. Strings don't have issues. But the price being that it was initially converted to we, now we have to reconvert it to a regular number. That is why we say from we this time around and this price. And then at the end of the day, we are reversing that array so that the new minted NFTs that have been added to the chain will be the one at the top, and then the older one will be at the bottom. Okay, so with that, we're making sure that we export this mint NFT and this load NFT. And basically, that is all about this blockchain script. So we save this. And then now let's come to these pages. This is where we start doing some, let's come to this collection first. Or not the collection. We come to this card. Card here. So we're going to put one more function. This function is going to be like handle listing, which will enable us to list an NFT on the marketplace. So to get this done, what we need to do is to say, this is the function that is responsible to do that. It's called handle mint. And it's first of all checking that, you have your wallet address connected, and before you can perform this, okay? Otherwise, it tell you that please connect wallet. And the next thing you need to do is this router here, or router, want to say const router is equal to use router, which is coming from next/router. Okay, so we're doing this, and we're also going to import this NFT that is coming from the service mint NFT. Okay, this function. So those are very important. We have it all together there. So what happens here? We want to say this toast, we're calling this promise to execute. What is that promise executing? It's saying that await this mint function to mint this NFT data, okay, which is coming from this card here. NFT data contain information such as such as the name, description, image, URL, and price. So it has all those information. So this NFT data will have all those information. And then we're doing an asynchronous request where we call this. If this is successful, this is this then place. We also want to delete this NFT from the database, because we can't be having the NFT on the database and at the same time be having it on the chain. So once it is minted, to the chain, we want to delete it from the database so that it will no longer be there. And of course, if that delete was successful, we'll push to the home page. Otherwise, just resolve, or if this whole thing fail, it should reject, and she just tell us whatever error that it is. If none of this case was the case, it will just tell us whatever situation it is. Otherwise, so the states that it is going to show you is saying listing NFT, NFT listed successfully, encountered error, and if it encountered error, is going to basically just show you this alert here. So now that that is done, let's hook it up to this function here called this list. So we're going to say on click, okay, issue handle mint, okay, say list NFT. Okay, so let's straighten this up, save it, and come to this page. We need to refresh this. So let us check if the server is actually down. So that's why it's not working. So let's say yarn dev. Okay, so our app is up online now. So let us refresh again. Call that, and okay, so it's refreshing and it's loading up pretty seriously. Okay, so this our app is up online saying 74 list NFT. So let's click on list NFT. You can see that it's prompting this, and MetaMask should prompt now. And this is the amount that I'm supposed to spend in listing this NFT, 0.02. And this is gas fee, everything together. Click on confirm, and it performs the listing and is successful. And as it is successful, you see, it just pushed me to the home page here. Which is great, but this homepage currently is showing a dummy data, okay? It's not showing the real data from the blockchain, which is what we need to adjust now. So let's come back to, so before what we would do is basically, what we'll do was to list out this dummy NFT data, which is an array, of course, but it's having some dummy data. But now we want to grab that data from the blockchain using our server-side, get server-side props, okay, functionality, and just grab it from the blockchain. So I'm going to rewrite this whole page with this update. Look at the update, is pretty simple, okay? We have this get server-side prop, which kind of load the NFT from the blockchain and then just present it to us using this. Why we're putting this so that what's it called, NextJs will not complain, because I found out that if you don't put it like this when you're interacting with the blockchain, kind of complains. So I first stringify it and then pass it, okay, which is like doing nothing, but it still just works out anyway. So afterward, that we're grabbing this from this blockchain place. So we're no longer using use state. We're actually passing it as what? A server prop, okay? See NFT, and then we are listing it here very simply, okay? We are not passing this BTN stuff here because we don't want the buttons to appear. So we just pasting it like this, okay? So let's save that and check it out on the browser. So right now we're good to go. Let's check it out on the browser and see what's going on. So let's refresh this page. Refresh. Hopefully, okay. See that this is the real data from the blockchain and it is being listed here. So as it is right now, let us create all of this from scratch and see what is going on. You see there is no off-chain data here in this account. So let's create a new NFT. Okay, I'm gonna look for this, and what should we call this? Copy this image address and come here and call it lazy ape. All right, so give it around 50, and this is the image URL. Just give it a dummy lorem, and then click on create. Okay, so it is lazy minting, right? And now it's lazy minted. If you come to this collection, you can see it here that is lazy minted, but when you come here, it's not listed. So now let's actually mint it here. So when we click on lazy list NFT, you can see now it's going to confirm. When you confirm this, it's going to now add that NFT to chain. This is the magic of what lazy minting right now. So the other ones don't cost NFT, but this, the other one doesn't cost you gas fee, but this one costs you gas fee, and it does a second operation at the same time, which is to list it on the marketplace without you having to pay gas fee 2 times. That is what lazy minting is all about. Okay, so with this, I believe we're done for this particular tutorial. If you really want you want to go deep into NFT development, my God, I have like a course right there on the platform called Fullstack NFT minting course. Okay, Fullstack NFT minting course. Check that course out. It's super loaded with all the features that we need to create an NFT minting project. or if you want to go, bed in a different direction and go in a different route and understand how to build a marketplace, you can choose that NFT marketplace course, which you can see both on the website. Okay, so with this said, I need you to hit that like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you will not miss out any of our tutorials as they keep coming around. So with that said, I'm very glad to have released this with you. And before we go, I just want to come here and actually check out any unminted NFT. Okay, so I have the soldier ape, so I'm going to just list it out right now. Okay, confirm, and there we go. So we have all of that. Fantastic. So it's Darlington here, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye.